Let's get into some things of the things, child. We got some stuff to talk about today, honey. We got some stuff to talk about. Hit that like button if you are new here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a great time over here. You meant what you said when you said it. Really be as bad, because I'll be understanding y'all sometimes. And when y'all know when I say y'all, you know I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about y'all. Fix me that all these people that got something to say have been actively involved in the political process in their world. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me. I know y'all love me. Good morning. Happy Saturday morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so Tracy said wrong intro. What you mean wrong intro? We're on both channels. I was gonna say we don't have an intro on the teacher project. You talk to the doc about that. He might be joining us if he's in a meeting right now, so if he can get a few minutes, he will be joining us. But I just wanted to hop on a little bit and talk a little bit about this situation with Dr. Ian Roberts. For those who are not familiar, and we're going to read through a couple of articles, but Dr. Ian Roberts is the superintendent of Iowa County Schools. He is the first person of color to hold that position. So I know, Tracy. I know, girl. I know. So he was actually arrested yesterday and detained by ICE. And so we're going to read through what it is that's going on, and we're going to talk about what's not being said. Okay. So I want to read you first. I want to read you. Some of the information might overlap because, you know, the different articles, some of it's going to be the same information. But before we get into like exactly what happened, I just want to give you guys a little bit of his resume. So for those who are like, well, who is he and where is he from and what did he do before he got here? So just a little bit of background on his professional background. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree from Coppin State University in Baltimore, Maryland, HBCU down in Maryland in 1998. He received a doctorate in education with a focus on urban and educational leadership. He also has a master's degree in education from St. John's University in Queens, New York. So that is a little bit of his educational background. Now let's talk about where he worked before he actually got to Des Moines. Dr. Ian Roberts served as the Chief Schools Officer of Aspire Public Schools, a system of public charter schools. His district for Aspire included schools in Los Angeles, the Bay Area, Central Valley, and Memphis. He previously served as a school principal and principal supervisor in Baltimore City, Washington, D.C., and the South Bronx, New York. So he actually was a principal at Anacostia High School here in DC. And I'm going to reach out to a friend of mine who was also a principal supervisor in Baltimore City and see if they can give me a little bit more insight if they worked with him, how well they knew him, because they would have been there at the same time. So I'm going to maybe try to get some insight from that as well. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of that before we get into what actually happened this week. Again, you guys, the main channel, ReallyBTV, I have it set to members only. If you are not a member, you can just go over to the Teacher Project 2.0 and you can still chat and I can still see everything that you're saying. As you guys know, we are still building that channel up. We're still trying to build up the watch time hours over there. So if you want to chat, feel free. I'm not blocking anybody from talking, and I'm not saying you have to become a member. Just go over to the Teacher Project 2.0 and you can talk as much as you want. Okay? All right. So let's get into it. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy dropped the link and to the channel. So just hit that link and boom, boom, bam. Okay. So let me read you guys this article that I pulled yesterday. And then El Teddy sent me a few things that we're going to read through as well. But let's get into this article. And this article is it's actually coming from People Magazine. And like I said, it's a few more. He's also El Teddy's frat brother, so I'm sure El Teddy will have some insight that he'll be able to add as well. That maybe is being said behind the curtain. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's get into it. Roberts was born in Guyana and grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Dr. Ian Roberts, a former Olympian and current Des Moines Public School superintendent, was arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on Friday, September the 26th. The former Olympian and public school administrator was arrested and detained for allegedly residing in the U.S. illegally. According to the agency, in the statement, ICE... the thing popped. In the statement, ICE alleged that Roberts was issued a final order of removal by an immigration judge in May of 2024. The Department of Homeland Security described Roberts as a criminal illegal alien. At the time of the arrest, the Guyana native allegedly abandoned his car and fled from police. DHS spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin told the Des Moines Register. McLaughlin also alleged that Roberts was in possession of a loaded handgun, $3,000 in cash, and a hunting knife. The district did confirm in a statement per Iowa Public Radio that its policy dictates that weapons are prohibited on school grounds or at a school-sponsored or school-related activity. Roberts also allegedly faces existing weapons possessions charges from February of 2020 per DHS. He was also charged with one count of possessing a loaded firearm inside of a vehicle in connection with a December 2021 incident in Erie, Pennsylvania. Per court records obtained by People, he entered a guilty plea in 2022. Dr. Roberts, this is a quote, Dr. Roberts has a previous firearm charge related to a hunting rifle, which he disclosed to DMPS board during the hiring process. So they hired him knowing that he had this. This wasn't something that stopped him from getting the job at Des Moines. He didn't hide it. It was full disclosure. They said he provided sufficient context and explanation of the situation to move forward in the hiring process. He has also spoken publicly about his experience, and this is also per the Des Moines Register. Roberts also addressed the incident in a February 2022 social media post where he said, at the time, he was the superintendent of the Mill Creek Township School District in Pennsylvania. He explained that a state game warden issued him a citation while he was hunting in a wooded area. Roberts claimed he was a licensed gun owner. During the conversation, Roberts put the weapon in his car to make the officer feel safe. So it sounds like he was out hunting and maybe he was in an area that he shouldn't have been hunting in, or maybe he was, I don't know. Then it says that the guy was giving him a citation because he was hunting in that area. And so then he put the weapon in the car, I guess, to take it out of the equation so the guy wouldn't feel threatened by a black man holding a rifle. I don't know. And then he got a charge for that. I'm confused. But neither here nor there. He didn't hide it. And it sounds like the situation was fully adjudicated in 2022. It is now 2025. Okay. The district also confirmed that Roberts underwent a third-party comprehensive background check. In this case, Dr. Roberts completed the I-9 employment eligibility verification form and submitted the required documentation. The district's director of communications confirmed and said in a statement to the Des Moines Register. The statement also said the district did not know Roberts' order of removal. So his employer didn't know he had an order of removal. Okay. Following his arrest, the district announced that Matt Smith would serve as the interim superintendent. And here's a quote from the district. "We are too devastated by news of his detainment," Smith said. In the words of Dr. Roberts, "If you paddle together, you will survive the tide. If you paddle alone, you will likely drown. As we learn more, we choose to paddle together." Okay, I like that. Jackie Norris, DMPS board president, added, "What we do know is that Dr. Roberts has been an integral part of our school community since he joined over 2 years ago. Des Moines city officials, including the police department, did not have advance notice of his detainment," Mayor Connie Boston said in a statement. So no, the mayor didn't know, the school didn't know. All right, so here's a little more background information on him. Born in Guyana, Roberts grew up in Brooklyn, New York. He entered the U.S. on a student visa in 1999. He graduated with a BS degree from Coppin State, 2 master's degrees from St. John's University and Georgetown University. Roberts later received his doctorate of urban education leadership at Trident University. Roberts has worked in education for decades, holding roles as a classroom teacher, a school administrator, and executive leader. He has also authored several books about education. We're going to look up some of his books, y'all. We're going to look up some of his books. Before becoming a DMPS superintendent in July of 2023, he was a superintendent at Mill Creek Township District in St. Louis Public Schools high school network. He also worked at a school in Baltimore, South Bronx, Washington, D.C. He earned Georgetown University's 2013 Washington, D.C. Principal of the Year Award. He also competed as a mid-distance runner in track and field for Guyana in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. All right, so how we feeling? I'm going to come back to the chat. How we feeling about this situation? So there were massive protests. I'm gonna go through this article about what happened yesterday. There were massive protests yesterday. So let's read through it. Let's read which one we want to read. There's 2 of them here. Let me see. Des Moines residents gathered downtown to protest after Dr. Ian Roberts is arrested. Let's read this one. A large crowd of people came together in downtown Des Moines Friday after calling for Des Moines Public School Superintendent Dr. Ian to be released. Des Moines Public Schools confirmed. Okay, we already got that. All right. Quickly following the news of his detainment, an emergency protest was called on on social media and organized to be outside the Neil Smith Federal Building downtown. People started showing up at 4 p.m. What started as a crowd with dozens of people quickly grew to a crowd of at least more than 200. Many people held signs denouncing ICE, as well as signs with statements showing their support for Roberts and for him to be set free. Children and adults showed up, and teachers took part, both from Des Moines public schools and some school districts in the surrounding communities. Quote, "I think it's the connection that he has with the kids in schools that people seen," says Jane Robinette. "That I think I can speak to the way he approaches his job. The support didn't just stop on the sidewalk. People who were driving by honked their car horns and in support. I think it's important for people to know that the general public is not okay with what's happening," said Mary Pat Lemire. Let's read this second article, and then I'm going to give y'all my thoughts. All right. Community leaders expressed concern over detainment of Superintendent Dr. Ian Roberts. To have a community, and by the way, before I forget, he is married with 4 kids. So he has a wife and 4 children right now. I'm assuming they live in Des Moines with him. I can't say that to be a fact, but he's been there since 2023. To have a community force that is ripped from the community so abruptly has been very challenging for us, said the NAACP Betty Andrews. Des Moines Public School. Okay, sorry, we already got that. Okay. All right. At 6 p.m., more local leaders addressed their situation at the Corinthian Baptist Church that was packed wall to wall with community members. In a group interview after the event, many expressed devastation, shock, and fear for immigration rights after hearing the news. I think ICE was trying to send a very strong message by taking one of our most valuable community members to place fear in our hearts. But we will not be afraid. Betty Andrews, the Iowa, Nebraska president of the NAACP, that was what she said. She also went on to say the following: I think we are devastated. We also immediately, as a community, went into fact-finding mode as much as we could, just wanting to make sure that we understand, what led to these circumstances. Former legislator Aka Abdul Samad was also present and told reporters that there may be one piece to the puzzle in Robert's arrest. Part of him being targeted was because he stood up for teachers, and wouldn't we look at the means that if the individuals standing here stand up for justice, we are next. Are we going to be persecuted? Okay. So let me say this. Well, first of all, I heard that he, obviously he's a black man in Iowa. Let's start there. Okay. Also, my understanding is that he would not capitulate to ICE. He was very vocal about not letting ICE in the schools and things of that nature. I can't confirm that. That's when, you start hearing stuff on social media. Here's what I can say. Number one, I want the body cam footage. Y'all said that he fled from the police. And then when y'all pulled him over, y'all found weapons and money. First of all, I mean, I don't know why he had, if he had $3,000. I don't know why he had $3,000. But what I do know is he probably makes well over $200,000 to $300,000 a year, maybe even more. From his career, it sounds like he's been making six figures for over 20 years now. So for him to have $3,000 in his car, I mean, he could have been taking his car to the shop. He could have been going to pay a bill. Like, I don't know what he was doing if he had $3,000 in his car. But here's what I do know. I know he wasn't on his way to the airport with $3,000. Where the fuck was he going? Not with 4 kids and a wife. Come on now. Like, we're not going to sit here and act like, I mean, I know that $3,000 for the average person, you're like, damn, why somebody got $3,000 in a car? But we're not going to sit here and act like if you make probably, like I said, anywhere to, over $300,000, and I'm that's on the low end for a superintendent. That's on the low end, okay? Probably makes double that. Without me looking it up, I don't know. But that's probably on the low end of what I'm saying. $3,000 really ain't shit. I mean, it's just call a thing a thing. Okay? Number two, I don't know that to be true. That sounds like something they just threw out there because they thought people would go, oh. Y'all said y'all found a hunting knife. Well, we know he's a hunter because he's a hunter. So maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But the hunting knife could have been in the trunk underneath the tire wheel for all we know. Y'all said y'all found one. I want to see the body cam footage because y'all throwing this stuff out here trying to make it sound like it was this horrible situation. Y'all said he fled from the police. Now, I don't know if he did that or not. I wasn't there. That's why I want the body cam footage. Because so far, y'all haven't told me he did anything against the law. Now, the fleeing from the police, but I want to see the body cam footage. I want to see where y'all identified yourselves and where he ran from y'all. Because here's the thing, too. ICE be walking around with masks over their face, no ID, no badges, no anything, and then just rolling up on people. So if somebody with a mask covering their face, let's just call it a thing, most times a white guy walks up to me talking about something, you need to come with me, and you don't identify yourself, you don't show me no papers, you don't show me a warrant, you don't show me a badge, I'm running too. So let's start with the arrest. I'm not impressed by nothing y'all told us as it relates to that man being arrested. I'm not impressed by nothing y'all told us as it relates to that man being arrested, because nothing that y'all said make me feel no kind of way. The man is a hunter. So you telling me he has a hunting knife means what? It means nothing. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy is dropping the links to his book. I'm gonna look them up on Amazon before we get off of here. We're gonna look at some of these titles, and maybe we're gonna buy a book just to support him. Okay. So number one, you say that he ran from y'all. Okay, well, did you identify yourselves? Did you show a warrant? Did you show a badge? I'm running too, especially as a black man in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm running too. Number two, he had $3,000 in cash. So what? He probably got $1 million in the bank. Who gives a fuck that he had $3,000 in cash? So what? That's against the law now too. We can't carry cash no more. That's against the law too. Number three, y'all told me he had a hunting knife in the car. Okay, well, he's a hunter. We know he's a hunter because y'all gave him a citation 3 years ago for hunting, I guess, in the wrong part of the forest. I don't know. But we know he's a hunter. So him having a hunting knife means nothing. Now y'all said, y'all threw that in there about how they're not supposed to have it on school grounds. Okay, all right, okay. Now, Sharice Wood says here in Cali, they're chasing people down with rifles. ICE is chasing people down with rifles. It's been crazy. Did y'all see that video of that ICE officer pushing that lady down? And they say he got fired, but I don't believe it. I don't believe he got fired either. I don't believe it. I think that's what y'all told us because y'all want people to shut up. All right. Now let's rewind the clock a little bit. He came over in 1999. Allegedly, y'all said he came over in 1999 on a student visa. But y'all told me that he got here in 1998. The article, let me go back to the article because I want to make sure I'm not telling no lies on the people. Let me go back to the article because I could have sworn that's what I read. Hold on. Let me go back to this article. Okay. It says, hold on. Okay, never mind. It is 19. Okay, so it says he came over in 1999 on a student visa. So I guess what they're saying is his student visa expired and he never completed. I thought okay, CK, I'm not crazy. I could have sworn I thought I saw 1998 and then they said he got a student visa in 99. But that's really not, that really don't matter. That was 20 years ago. It don't matter. But so I guess what they're saying is that he allowed his student, like once he was no longer a student, then he should have done whatever the next paperwork is or the next process is to have his permanent citizenship or paperwork. I'm assuming that's what they're saying. They're saying that you were in the country at this point, you are in the country illegally because you have not done whatever the paperwork you needed to do after you were no longer a student. Now, I'm going to be honest and tell y'all, I have not done my research to study all of the different types of visas and what you're supposed to do when this visa expires. Then you have to apply for this type of visa. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I don't know. Okay. So if he did not stay on top of his business as far as making sure his paperwork was in line, then that is on him. However, y'all's president, and when I say y'all, you know I ain't talking about the people in this room. Y'all's president said he was going after criminals. This man is not a criminal. This man has 4 degrees and is educating our children. And for the exception of that weird situation in Pennsylvania where he was hunting in the wrong part of the forest, I don't even understand what that whole situation was, but he has done nothing to violate the laws of this country. And even when he was arrested, he pled guilty. It was fully adjudicated and everybody moved on with their life. Okay. Did he marry a U.S. Now, CK, that's a good question. I don't know if his wife, let's Google it. I don't know if his wife is a U.S. citizen or not, but that's a good point. If his wife is a U.S. citizen, hold on now. You still have to do paperwork though, but let's Google it, y'all. That's what we here for. I had about another 40 minutes. So this will be here for. Okay. Who is Dr. Ian Roberts married to? Let's see. Oh, he must not put his wife out there because I don't. Hmm. Of course, all of the articles are popping up. Let's see. Child, Wikipedia probably tell me. I hate going to Wikipedia, but Wikipedia probably be the one to give me the breakdown. It just okay. Child, we might have to go down to the Wikipedia, child. I have a hard time believing a man with a damn doctorate is not on top of his visa. Me too, Tracy. Tracy, me too. I don't want to say absolutes, but I want to say, okay, hold on. Okay, here's a meet him. Let's see what's on here. Okay. It's been a year and 4 months since Dr. M moved to Central Iowa, assuming personal hard work, faith, and discipline. Okay. My mother had a saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Coming to Iowa was never part of my plan professionally. Okay, he agreed. Linguistic, okay. Students, okay. Iowa woman. Okay. Okay. Grew up in Brooklyn, spent summers with his grandparents in Guyana, South America. Okay. Olympics. Child, he must not talk about his wife a lot. He must keep his wife very private. But I read that in an article that he was married. Let me look, because I pulled so many articles on this, y'all. I read so much stuff on this. Let me see if I can find the article that said he was married. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. Um, because I've read so many articles, y'all, on this man. Hold on. But I'm almost certain that I read an article saying that he was married with 4 kids. But let me make sure. Okay. All right, hold on. Yeah, I promise you, I read so many articles. Hold on. I'm almost certain I saw that he was married with 4 kids. So there's that article. There's that article. Is it in this article? Child, there's so many damn articles. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn it said that man was married. Child, we might have to just go to the wiki. You know what? I think it was in this. No, I just read. Hold on. I think it was in this article right here. Hold on. I know what article it was in. It was in the article I just closed. Hold on. Hold on. I think it's this one right here. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I just want to make sure I didn't see something I didn't see. I could have sworn I saw this. What the hell? All right. No, it can't be this one because I can't read that article. Hold on. All right. All right. I can't find it, y'all. So let me. Tracy, anybody else looking it up? Check IG. Tracy. Sorry, Tracy, I wasn't looking at the chat. I'm sorry. Look, I was focused on trying to find that daggone article. I wasn't tripping. Okay. I just because I don't want to be lying on nobody. Hold on. Okay, he is married. Thank you, Tracy. No, CK. I was thinking the same thing. No, you didn't derail anything. Lanisha and Ian, they were married. So he married a woman by the name of Alicia. Lanisha and Ian, they got married at the Naples Bay Resort in June of 2017. The ceremony was full of tender. Okay, yeah. I was just trying to see if it said anything about how they met and all that good stuff. It just describes the ceremony and stuff. But they've been married since 2017. The wedding is beautiful. They got married at a resort. It was a destination wedding. You're fine. No, y'all are fine. Ain't nobody derailing nothing. That's what we here for. We here to have the conversation. So I agree with what you said. I believe that was DB or somebody else in the chat said. I refuse to believe that somebody that is this on top of everything would allow something this, especially in this climate, to allow something like this to lapse. And if he did get an order back in May of 2024, we're talking about 7 months ago. I mean, we're talking about a year and a half ago, excuse me. I just don't believe that he wouldn't have handled it, or at least have an attorney, an immigration attorney working on it or something like that. Like, I find it hard to believe. And I can't say he didn't. I mean, I don't know this man. I can't say it didn't, but I find it hard to believe that he would not be on top of this, especially knowing the climate that we're living in and understanding the bullseye that's on his back. But let me say this though, as an educator, as somebody who was in, and I think somebody said it earlier in the chat. Let me scroll up because I think somebody said it earlier in the chat. As an educator, a U.S. citizen does not have a constitutional right to have their non-citizen spouse admitted to the U.S., and that such a visa denials are generally not subject to judicial review. Wait a minute. A U.S. citizen does not have a constitutional right to have their non-citizen spouse admitted. Yeah, I know they have to. It's still a process they have to go through. I know that. I watched 90 Day Fiance. There's still a process that you have to go through once you get married. But I feel like he would have done it. But again, I don't know him. But I just feel like he would have handled his business. But I don't know the man. Okay. Let me say this, and this is for people who don't understand or don't know what it is in education. Baby, when you get hired as a teacher, you have to submit your fingerprints. I know the last 3 jobs I had in education, I had to submit my fingerprints. And they ran my fingerprints through a national database, not a local database, a national database. Teachers are bonded. We are insured. And it you know, that level of what your insurance is it differs from district to district. But baby, we are insured for a certain amount of money. If we get sued, what if it's under a certain cap, that goes through the district. You understand what I'm saying? So like, for him to have had so many different jobs, hey Pat, in so many different jurisdictions, I am so confused how nobody caught this. Now, I know that I know that all the different agencies don't talk to each other. I understand that things fall under the radar, that things fall under the wayside. But, baby, you mean to tell me this many people missed it? And on a level of superintendent now, I have to do all that to be a teacher. Can you imagine what the scrutiny is for somebody applying to be a superintendent? I find it very interesting that nobody had any information on this until they just showed up to get him. And nobody called the school. Nobody called the mayor. Nobody. I mean, we're talking about, like, I don't think people understand when you're talking about a superintendent of a school district, they are on that level. Like, they are on that level of, they are meeting with the mayor on a regular basis. They're sitting in budget meetings. They're going, like, it's a big freaking deal. It's not like no little old, no, the superintendent of a whole district, and ain't nobody know nothing. If he did get a final order in May of 2024, ain't nobody know nothing for a year and a half. As someone who went through the process myself, it would have been impossible for him to slip through. There are 10 times more red tape, even filing out of I-9, all of this pops up. Thank you, DB. Like, hello? Listen, you can't even volunteer to school without going through the process of background checks. Remember back in the day, you could just show up and say, I want to volunteer at my kid's school. You can't do that no more. You can't just show up to volunteer. There's a process. You can't just walk into a school. I mean, I can't speak for every single school district in the United States, but I can probably say damn near all of them. You can't just walk into the school, la da 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 da. How nobody knew nothing. So I mean, obviously we will wait till we get more information. He has not spoken, and no official spokesperson for him has spoken. I anticipate a statement will be released in a couple of days. This happened on a Friday, which I'm sure was done on purpose. I'm sure it was strategically done that this was done on a Friday because now he's there all weekend. I anticipate that we probably won't hear anything, an official statement, probably until Monday, maybe Tuesday. I could be wrong. I know many people who live in New York that have Caribbean parents. The parents get their citizenship, but did get their kids on paper. But did or didn't. Hey there, I had a quick break from my meeting. Thank you for holding it down while I'm not available. You got time to come up for a few minutes? I know you said you just got a quick break, but you got 5 minutes. You want to come up real quick? You say it's the governor. I wouldn't put it past the governor, that lady. I wouldn't put it past the governor at all. Oh, they didn't put their peers. But I hear you, vote. But it sounds like he had official paperwork at one point in time if he had a student visa. So at some point in time, he had paperwork. He had a student visa. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I honestly do not know the full process of immigration. Admittedly, I don't know. But I feel like as long as you're in school, don't you just keep renewing that student visa? This man got 5 degrees. His student visa probably was probably on point for a minute. I don't know. But I just refuse to believe, and again, I don't know this man, but I refuse to believe that somebody this educated That moved. Here come El Teddy. I'm gonna shut up because I know he got limited time. I'm gonna let him move.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. All right, you got the floor.
Okay.
Say your piece.
Just real quick, I just think that it's really, this is a witch hunt in its in its in everything that you see here. I don't think any of us are confused by what's going on. There's no way that this man could have had gainful employment in multiple districts on every level in multiple states, meaning he had to have multiple certifications from multiple states. And we understand because you know how they're all of a sudden having an issue with him having weapons, but they only have issues with the second degree. I mean, the Second Amendment when black people have, expressed their Second Amendment. When they want to flex their Second Amendment right, it's no problem. But when us black people also, dare to say we have that same Second Amendment, now they have the full force of the legal system on you about when and if you can have firearms. But we see and know what this is. This is always an attack on black people. There's an attack on black employment of all types. We know black women have lost over 300,000 jobs across the country. We see what's going on with the federal government, even with the shutdown of them saying that they may fire thousands of workers. And we know the federal government is the highest employer of black bodies in this country. And with Dr. Roberts, there's no way, shape, form, or fashion that you're going to tell me that this is anything except for them trying to make an example. And they do this often where they go from the for the highest or most notable or person of note and notoriety to make an example of them to make everybody else underneath fall in line. So we see and know this for what it is, and that's really what's happening because they really all of this. Oh, he had a knife. Oh, he had a gun. If he's a citizen of the great state of Iowa, and they give him license and be okay to carry said weapons, then it's okay. But just know he's not alone. He's not by himself. He has the full support of that community, that school district. The frat is behind him 1,001%.
Oh, I know
So
that. That's why. Yeah, I know that.
so yeah,
Tracy
it's
just sent
it's
me something that said that his Tracy just I don't I'm sure Tracy read an article, but Tracy just sent me something that says that that his employer, Des Moines County Public Schools, is saying they didn't sign off on his employment verification. That's bullshit. If they didn't sign off on his employment verification, he wouldn't have got hired.
that's not true.
Because
That's it.
how does he pay his taxes?
Yeah, that's not how
That's
that
bullshit.
works. Yeah, that's not how any of that works.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Because as anybody knows the scrutiny that you go through to work with any school system anywhere in this country, you you can't escape anything with regard to working in education. And rightfully so. So
Yeah, but I mean that's in
we
any
see and
job.
know
You
what this
can't go
is.
to McDonald's, and if your employer doesn't sign off on your employment verification, you don't get a job. When
Hmm.
you go on your first day of work, they tell you to bring your picture ID, your social security card. They tell you to bring all that stuff. If they can't verify who you are and verify that you're legally able to work in the United States, they don't sign off. That's somebody trying to cover their ass. That's what that is.
Yep,
It's no way that this man is working in one of the highest positions in the state for three
and
years.
nobody knows.
Right. He didn't just get hired last week. He been there since 2023 or 2022. It's no way in hell.
Yep.
That's not
Yeah.
even a thing. You can't work at
I
McDonald's. That's not a thing. Not
I'm about
legally.
to get out of here real quick.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
baby.
you to Demetria. She sent me a love token for lunch. Thank you, my love. I
Oh,
but no, we see and know what this is. We know this is about making an example of a black man in this country, and we're this is not going to be the only one. This is not going to be the only one. So we have to stay vigilant. We have to stay uh, up abreast on everything. We saw several firings in several states from multiple school districts. We saw what happened in Oklahoma with that school district. Well, I'm glad Ryan Baltimore is leaving, but that's a whole different story. Anyway, I'm going back in here really deep for my people that's looking for me. I may
Okay.
be home tonight to do a quick live, or I may
Okay.
do it tomorrow. But I definitely know I'll do something tomorrow. I love
Okay,
y'all. Gotta
cool.
go.
All right.
We'll
Thanks for
talk
hopping
soon.
on back.
All right.
Yeah, so Tracy is sending me messages. I don't know if she read it. Tracy, is this coming from an article? Where you getting this from? Where you getting this from? Because if you getting it from an article or you looking, I think Tracy, y'all know Tracy be deep diving. I think she's all on that man's LinkedIn page, child. Um, Tasha Lovely said, "It really coming out of the bushes to thank my face for highlighting the story. It means a lot to someone as a Caribbean American person dealing with a lot in this climate. Oh, thank you, my love, and we definitely continue to send positive vibes and hugs and do the best, do what we can where we are. Did I hear someone say lock the door? Child, is Don here? We look, we already got the door locked over on the main channel, child. The employer gets penalized, Lord, y'all. The employer gets penalized if the I-9 is not submitted and verified. So that's bull. Exactly. That's Cheryl. Let me tell you something. I can't remember what job it was. I feel like it might have been when I worked at the bank. Because I started working at the bank straight out of college. And I feel like it was some paperwork that they needed from me that I didn't have. Because I was a dumb college student that had just graduated. And my mama probably still had all my paperwork. Like, I don't remember what it was. It was something, I remember, but it was something that I needed, though. I don't remember what it was. But it was something that I needed that my mother had to send me. And obviously, this was before the scanning and all of that. I mean, email existed. But I had to physically wait for my mother to mail it to me. And I remember HR, they let me start my training, but I remember HR was like, basically like, if we don't have it by XYZ day, you're gonna have to come back for the next training. They didn't say I was fired, but they were like, we can't let you keep coming in because they wouldn't have been able to pay me. See, that's what I don't understand. How is this man getting paid? How is this man getting paid? If they have verified his status, his eligibility to work, how he getting paid? Because all of that, your I-9 is connected to your taxes. Am I correct, my HR people? Get me together now. Don't let me say nothing that ain't right. But in your I-9, isn't all that connected to your taxes? Okay, Tracy said it was an article where the local paper said that the school district didn't verify him. That's bullshit. I don't believe that. Okay, Tracy said, yes, it is. See, and that's my HR person. That's one of my HR people. She my head HR person. Andrew said, yes. So ain't no way. And now, if the man had just started working there, I would even give it the beginning of the year. But that man been working there for a couple of years. And I'm sure he's been getting it paid. I'm sure his paycheck has cleared every 2 weeks. Cheryl said, I do onboarding daily. Yes, it is. Y'all hiring? Y'all got a job for me? DB said that she do them. DB, you got a job for me? You hiring? Andrew said you can't pay anyone without verified legal. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Like, again, this man had to have been able to provide paperwork to show that he, at some point, was able to legally work in the United States. This man has been working in public schools since when did they say he started? Since the early 2000s. I'm going to just say that. It is 2025. So for 25 years, this man has been working in public schools. I might even go so far as to say, well, he was working in private schools and charter schools, and maybe they were skirting some things, which would still be a stretch. Let's be clear, it would still be a stretch. But I would go down that road faster than public school. Baby, I know what you got to do for public school, and I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. Right. Andrew said you can't pay anybody without verifying legal status. See that? Y'all, we know what this is. And again, I want the body cam footage. I want to see that y'all lawfully pulled this man over, told him who y'all were, and told him that y'all were arresting him or detaining him. And I want to see that he ran. See, I almost feel like y'all threw that in there because y'all know he was an Olympic runner, and y'all trying to put that thought out there that he ran from the police. Like, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I mean, not even the police, ICE. I don't believe that. I don't believe that y'all told that man who y'all were and he ran from y'all. I don't believe that. And again, you telling me he had $3,000 and so. The hell with pay, he can't start. The employer gets penalized big time with violations and penalties. Thank you, Cheryl. FCPS superintendent now has 4 bodyguards and 24-hour security. Oh, let me read that whole comment. Born Earth said, some of these liberal superintendents are getting it from the thugs and government. Long-term threats for sure. FCPS superintendent now has 4 bodyguards and 24-hour security. My God. And y'all wonder why people don't want to do this shit. Y'all wonder why people don't want to go into education. 4 bodyguards. Y'all, as you guys know, we will definitely stay on this story. We will continue to follow this story. Like I said, I anticipate a formal statement coming from his attorney. I don't anticipate him speaking to us right now. I feel like whatever we get will be coming through an attorney for him. I'm sure that Benjamin Crump is on his private plane as we speak, and probably some other names. Shout out for the people who organized the protest. Shout out to the people who showed up to the protest. Sending love and positive vibes to his wife and kids. I can only imagine what they're processing right now, what they're going through right now. I'll wait and hear what his attorney says to us because I feel like we'll get. Tracy said maybe we're looking at this wrong. Hold on, Tracy, you want to come up? Do you want to come up and tell us what we looking at wrong? You want to come up, boo? Hold on. I'm gonna send you the link, Tracy, if you want to come up and explain it. Hold on. I don't know if Tracy has time to come up or not, but I'm gonna send you the link real quick. If you have time to come up, okay? I'm gonna send it to Instagram or text. I'll text it to you. Because I want to hear this theory. Oh, she's typing it in the chat. Maybe the company didn't complete the employment authorization form that is used to keep a work visa valid. It's not the same as a tax form. Oh, so you're saying maybe the job didn't do their part to submit the paperwork to keep his visa valid. Oh. Now that's a horse by a different color. Now that's a horse of a different color. Tracy said, "Oh, yeah, that's interesting." Either way, I feel like it's all bullshit, and I'm waiting to hear from his attorney. We'll wait to hear from him. Like El Teddy said, he is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, so I'm sure that he has the full support of not just Kappa Alpha Psi, but all of D9 behind him. Yeah, my job did that to my coworkers, and they're in Mexico working remotely until their paperwork is finalized. Okay, so Quake said, okay. All right, Tracy, break it down for us. What you saying, boo?
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
So the only thing that I can think of is I think it's like a I-766 that if someone's on a work visa, you literally just file the form to say this person is going to be working for our company. this is the tentative amount of time that we think they're going to be working there. And most of the time, they don't let you put an indefinite date on it. Most of the time, and it depends on the state, because I know for some places it's like 2 years, and you literally just fill out the form and resend it in. So I wonder if they didn't do one to keep his work visa out, saying like, oh, he has this work. So it's completely separate from like your I-9 and verifying you as an employee. So I wonder if that part fell to the wayside is the only other thing that I can think. And that will be like a clerical error on the company's part, because if he's already been hired and you just fill out the form to renewal, and that just kind of lets them know like, yep, this person, their work visa is still valid and good to go, and just to extend it. Maybe that is the only thing I can think of.
Oh, so my people in the chat are chiming in. Cheryl said that's true, but of all of his positions and didn't do it as a stretch. DB said the first question is what type of authorization did he have to get his first job? Good question. Andrew said what does happen. No, excuse me. That does happen all the time. If this is the case, that's probably why they're trying to distance themselves from the verification. Okay. DB said the length of time depends on the degree. Cheryl said that's very true. 2 to 5 years. You're absolutely correct. Andrew said they dropped the ball. DB said some people usually, you said stern people usually get 3 years. Now that's interesting.
That's the only thing that I can think. And
so then that would not, so if that, okay, so let's walk down that road for a second. If that did happen, then the fault is on the side of Des Moines Public Schools.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it was a setup? You think they did it on purpose?
Listen.
You think somebody hid the paperwork?
Do we think
the paperwork?
Do we think that maybe did the people like him? Could it have been a accidental? Could it have been an accident? A clerical error? How dare he get to become a superintendent?
Oh, thank you.
And they sent it for verification, and they just accidentally forgot. Didn't see it come in, didn't notice it. Could it be how dare, this black man? I don't know, but because when you were saying it, I was like, well, he would know. I was like, I just had such a hard time believing that he wouldn't do what he needs to. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, well,
when I read STEM, for some reason my brain didn't go to science, tech, and engineering. I know it's still Ms. Child. For some reason, when I read STEM, my brain, I don't know, my brain was like, huh? No, he worked somebody said that he worked in just blue areas. No, when he was in Erie, Pennsylvania, that is red, baby. Most of contrary to popular belief, because I think when people think of Pennsylvania, they think of Philadelphia. Most of Pennsylvania is red. When I drive through Pennsylvania on my way to visit James who lives in Pittsburgh, or to visit my niece, and I have to drive through Pittsburgh and through Ohio, baby, let me tell you something. Them Trump billboards, them Trump signs, you walk into the gas station, you got Make America Great Again merchandise, baby, it's not...
yeah.
Okay. Now don't let Philadelphia fool you. Don't let Philadelphia fool you. Pennsylvania is a red state, child.
That is the only thing that I could think to make sense to be like, maybe.
Mm-hmm. No, it's okay. CK, baby, it's okay. That's why we're here. Yeah, Erie Township. That's where he got the charge for having the weapon. That's where he was in the woods hunting. Now, I guess he was in the wrong part of the woods, child. I don't know what was going on with the woods situation.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like he was being hassled, is what it sounded like. The cop rolled up on him, saw him, a black man in the woods with a rifle, and had a problem. But I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know. But that's what it sounded.
And the fact that he was like, oh, well, let me put this in the car so you won't feel, any type of way.
Like, lets me know that he felt, yeah, exactly.
And then for them to turn around and say, oh, well, it's also illegal for you to put a loaded
it's also
thing.
illegal for you to add the weapon in the car. It's crazy. Oh, Lord. Anyway. Okay, Cheryl said not necessarily. We tell employees all the time to keep up with their verification. Many places, me, myself, and I send out 90,000 60 30 day 90 60 30 day notices because they're documents that the person has to submit. See, that's what I was saying. I said one time when I got a job, I can't remember what it was. I mean, it wasn't a visa thing, obviously, but it was something I needed. And the HR office was like, baby, if you don't get this paperwork by XYZ day, honey, we're gonna have to move you to the next training class. You're gonna have to wait another couple of weeks to come back. Because again, they couldn't finish the paperwork to pay me. Yeah, I think, and I'm enjoying learning because again, I don't know a lot of this stuff when it comes to immigration and the different types of visas. I mean, I know there are different types of visas and the processes are so different. But here's what I think we can all agree on. This shit smell. It smells like 3-day-old fish left in the trash can. It stinks to me. It stinks. I feel like once we hear from Dr. Roberts or his representative, I feel like we'll get more information, more insight. I feel like, once again, if we go back to the beginning of this story, what the man in the White House said was that they were going after criminals. This man is not a criminal. There's nothing about anything that we have learned today that tells us that this man is a criminal. If anything, worst case, the fact that he was still hired to be the superintendent and they knew about the weapons charge lets you know that he's not a criminal. They didn't feel he was a criminal. So that just once again, for all of you MAGA people, prove that this is not about getting criminals out of the country. This is about getting Black and brown people out of the country. But I feel like, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx nothing, but I feel like this ain't going to go the way they thought it was going to go. And I'm going to just leave it at that. I want to know if he got the removal notice and didn't acknowledge it. I do too, DB. Listen, I don't know this man, so I don't want to make it seem like this man is an angel and he's perfect because I don't know him. But that is a good question. I want to know if you got the notice and when you got the notice, what did you do? That's why I want to hear from his attorney. Because what did you do? Did you ignore it? Because I'm gonna say this. Let me be devil's advocate for a second. Let's assume if he did get the paperwork, right? Saying, listen, sir, you're as of May of 2024, you are now out of compliance, violated, final notice. If he saw that paperwork and pushed it to the side and didn't acknowledge it, I think that's reckless, especially in this climate, especially with everything else we're dealing with. I don't know that to be true. We're just walking down the road.
So then, wait, so, because I'm trying to think, because he did move from being a teacher into being a superintendent, could have happened within that gap in employment. But why when he researched to be a superintendent, they didn't?
Because he hasn't been a teacher for a long time.
Yeah, but isn't the thing like his original notice from like 2020, and then they just
they said that they sent him his final. They said the final notice in May of 2024. He was a superintendent in May. He was the superintendent of Des Moines. He was the superintendent in Des Moines in 2024. Now, if you're saying he started getting the paperwork in 2020, so you mean to tell me this man has been getting paperwork for 25 years and hasn't done anything about it? That's crazy.
Yeah, something just seems fish. Like something just seems.
I just can't believe. And again, I don't know any of this to be a fact, but I can't believe that this man has been getting paperwork about his immigration status for 25 years and has done nothing about it. He had a destination wedding. He left the country to get married. You mean to tell me he was able to leave the country and come back in to get married? Like, y'all, so much don't make no sense to me. I know higher professionals normally rely on assistants. Trust me, he should not have been working at all. Right? It's no way he would have been working this long, in my opinion. I mean, again, shit happens. We know. I mean, hell, Simon was here. How long was Simon here? But
okay, so no, I'm just rereading it. It said he got his first notice in June of 2020. So that would have been 5 years roughly. But then it says he started becoming a superintendent. He became a superintendent in 2023.
Yes.
So when They would have done a verification of employment in 2023 when they hired him.
Right.
So
That's what I'm saying. It's no way based on what I know about education and getting hired, and based on what you know about hiring in general with HR. Oh, I gotta get ready to go, y'all. There's no way in the world that this man should have been working if his immigration status was questionable since 2020. Ain't no way. He got hired in 2023. Ain't no way.
man, something about that just don't seem. Or could it have possibly been that, you know, like a computer thing where they sent the notice, they did the thing, he got a new job, the new job did all the did everything they were supposed to do, it verified, and that original one was supposed to go away, as in like, oh no, this isn't valid anymore. You know, he has a job, we've done the verification, we did that, and they're picking up an old order or an old notice that says he shouldn't have been eligible to work, and they never cleared it out of the system, and now they're like, oh yeah, let's use this. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It just seems
Listen, I
weird.
think one thing I feel like, and tell me if y'all don't agree, you can put a 2 in the chat if you don't agree. But I think, because I have to get ready to get on, I have to get on a Zoom call at 11:30. I think the one thing we can all agree on is that this shit smells like 3-day-old fish in the trash can. It stinks. It stinks. Now, with that being said, I love y'all. I got to get out of here. I probably won't be back until tomorrow morning because, like I said, I'm getting out of this house and I'm being in them streets today. I'm gonna be outside today, even though it's raining, but I'm gonna be outside today. But I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good Saturday. Enjoy, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate you. If you have not subscribed to the Teacher Project 2.0, please go over there and subscribe. And if y'all could all do me a favor, it's 126 of y'all in here. If everybody could watch one episode of the Teacher Project this weekend, that's my homework for y'all. If everybody could watch one episode of the Teacher Project, we're trying to get our watch time hours. You can let it play in the background while you're cleaning. You know, you can put it on your YouTube. You can turn the volume down while you got the Anita Baker playing while you're cleaning your house. Okay? All right. I love y'all. Peace.